Hello again guys, it's Yago Chebe here back with another review video. This version was a Ghoul part 2. Let's get straight into it. So guys, we're gonna have a flashback and it's not a good time with Uncle, they had a good time. Naruto then wakes up to see that Uncle is not in the bed beside him. It's not just like panicking, like maybe something might happen. It's not then like puts his pants on and he heads downstairs. As he heads downstairs, he then smells breakfast. He smells some bacon, some eggs, as he then smells, and some coffee there, surprisingly. So, she then heads to the table as he then finds Uncle, in the kitchen, cooking. And then sees this. He then goes behind Uncle, and he gives a good morning hug. As Uncle accepts this. So he then goes and sits at the table as Uncle serves him the food. So Nat then he says thank you Uncle. He then gives her a kiss as she's happy by this, and Nat then says, so Uncle, now that you've become like part of my mates, you automatically become like me. As Uncle then says, it's okay Naruto. I really wanted to become like you, so there's no problem with it. Naruto then says, okay, I'm gonna have to tell, Amy about this. Is Uncle then nods. So well guys, I'm gonna have to put a quick pause on this, just a few seconds. Sorry about the pause guys, I'm back. So Naruto is done with the breakfast as he then heads out of Uncle's apartment. He then heads to the apartment which he and Ayame have. He then goes and tells Ayame about the new addition to the family, Uncle. Ayame then smiles at this, she has no problem with it. As she then heads to the ramen stand to begin her work. So the ramen stand is inside the red line district. That's where Naruto lives at. But Naruto is planning on improving the situation in the red line district. As Naruto's on break from missions. So Naruto then creates a few shadow clones, about roughly around 3,000 shadow clones. As he sends them to clean up the red line area, repair what needs to be fixed, do all sorts of things. As the clones then nod at Naruto as they begin to clean up the red line district. Naruto then notices there are some gangs in the red line district, some gangs, and a lot of violence, all that stuff. These as Naruto then decides to go and take care of these gangs. So Naruto then goes to the gangs, he goes and beats up the boss of the gangs. As the boss then gives allegiance to Naruto. As the whole gang eventually gives allegiance to Naruto. So Naruto then goes around doing this for the whole day, putting all gangs together, getting all the allegiance. As the gangs become one, sort of like a police force, to stop crimes from happening. So crimes in the red line district begin to gradually drop. Thievings and everything begin to drop. As then ask the bosses where they keep the money. As the bosses then show out the safe so they keep the money. And then sees there's an awful lot amount which can be used to boost the red line place into a good place. So Naruto then takes the money. You see then sits with the bosses and some of the important members of the red line district. It then begins to talk to them how ways to improve the red line district, turning into a shopping district which is very profitable for them. The gang bosses then nod at this, and also the important people. It's not to then allocate funds for them to build the stores, buy some goods, and some starting capital to do all sorts of things. So time skip a week later, red line district has now been open, and people around the village are also heading to the red line district. Traders are also heading to the red line district. So it's a lot of changes which has been happening there. So some of the clans, like control major districts, starts like to envy like the red line district, but they say nothing about it as for now. So back to Naruto. Naruto then like goes to the bridge where his team meets, where he finds Sasuke, Hinata, and Kakashi there. Hinata then says, "Huh? So we have a mission." Hinata says, and Kakashi then nods and says, "Yes, we have a mission." So then they head to the Okage office. So when they head to the Okage office, the Okage then looks at Naruto and says, "Naruto, I wanna speak to you, after your mission is done." Then Naruto says, "Okay, Lord Okage." So Chestnut comes in. He does not make any fun of anyone, as they look pretty strong. As they then head, I'm gonna like browse through this arc. I'm not really gonna go into this. So then head, out of sight of the Hill Leaf Village, as they pass like where the Demon Brothers are supposed to be. The Demon Brothers jump out. Naruto, does like what Kennedy does, in Tokyo Ghoul, stabs them, with these like those red things. I'm not sure what you call them. I really don't know. I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul in a long time. He then like stabs them and decapitates them. He then like grabs their heads and seals them in a scroll. One of them continues walking as Kakashi then falls behind. Hinata is like really worried about what Naruto did. She says he did it without even feeling remorse. Kakashi then pats Hinata and says, "Hinata, we are shinobi. This is what we're supposed to do." But internally, Kakashi is fighting and said, "Huh, Shoshi is as cunning as usual. Centipede is as cunning as usual." So they continue walking until they reach Zabuza. Zabuza then jumps out and throws the sword at them, but this time it doesn't like go above them going to a tree. Naruto then like unseals his own weapon, which is a scythe, as he like deflects Zabuza's sword and sends it back. So Naruto starts to glow red, as this is some of like the power Naruto got from Yami, which like radiates off the scythe, as it like takes his like a creepy thing, like like the Grim Reaper and holding a scythe. So, Zabuza then like feels a chill go down his spine as rushes at Naruto and starts to attack him. So, Naruto and Zabuza clash for a few minutes as they eventually break apart. Zabuza then does some water style jutsu, Naruto then says reflection, as the water jutsu is then deflected at Zabuza as it then hits Zabuza head on. Naruto does not even waste time as he rushes in Zabuza's and then says soul extraction. He then slices out and extracts his soul, as his soul gets sent to Yami. So in the realm of demons and everything, Yami then sees like a soul coming towards her and she then like smiles. She then grabs the soul and puts it somewhere for storage. There's no better reward. Naruto then sees like substance on the ground and says, "Soul extraction complete." He then like slices Substance head off. Haku, who was in the shadows, jumps at Naruto. "No, Subza-sama." As Naruto then sees Haku. He then says, "Huh, you're a boy but you wear female clothing. How despicable," Naruto says as he then cuts Haku's head off. I'm sorry for Haku fans out there, but it just had to be done. As Haku then dies. Naruto then takes Subza's head as he seals it in a scroll. He then grabs Kuriri Bocho, I think that's the name of Subza's sword, as he seals it in a scroll. So Naruto continues like to walk. Kakashi like is shocked at Naruto's skill. He does not even know what to say. His Naruto's skills are like above his own skills with the scythe. He's never seen anyone with the scythe except for Hidden. Kakashi did run-ins with Hidden, but nothing happened. So they then head to Tasuna's apartment. As they're like walking through the village, going to Tasuna's apartment, Naruto is like disgusted by the way the way his country looks. People are starving, they're looking hungry, all that stuff. He's not just like pretty pissed. So Naruto then creates about 8 shadow clones and tells them to to go into the surrounding forest and hunt for beasts and everything which can be edible and berries and all that stuff. The shadow clone then head off, as Kakashi then says, Naruto, where are you shadow clones going? And Naruto says, oh, I don't know about it, Kakashi. They then arrive, at Tazuna's apartment. They then head in. So, an hour later, Naruto's shadow clones come back, caring about, 3 bears, 5 boars, 16 hares, 18 rabbits, So, Naruto then goes to the center of the village, Is he like then sees like this, like a metal place? Is he like does a short fireball jutsu and creates a fire? Is he then skins the beast, and starts cooking them? Everyone who's in the village, starts to smell like the smell of good food. They say like head over to where Naruto is. So Naruto then uses like a banana leaf, to put like the meat as he starts serving people. So Naruto's like all the Naruto's articles are doing this. Is Naruto's also there like serving people food. Suddenly 16 thugs of Gato come up and says, hey, who's giving away food? Is it then rush, trying to grab food from people? But they're suddenly like stabbed in the chest with some tentacle like things. If they then die on the spot, that says, don't worry, people of faith, I will free you, not access to them. As all the people of faith, are really happy at this. As they're very happy. Tazuna always like seeing this, smiles and says, huh. So he seems he's brought back hope to this place. Tazuna smiles. So the people after eating then like looking at it says, Naruto, how can we thank you, for bringing back our hope? And Naruto says, huh, you can help Tazuna finish building the bridge. As the people then nod and go to Tazuna's door. They then knock and says, Tazuna, we're here to help you complete the bridge. As Tazuna is surprised. So Naruto then goes to Kakashi and says, Kakashi sensei, I need you to come with me. As Kakashi then goes to Naruto and Naruto then says, Kakashi, I want to go, and take down Gato before he becomes a problem for us. Kakashi then nods as he and Naruto head to Gato's base. Upon arrival at Gato's base, they see like some thugs that then Naruto then looks at Kakashi and says, Kakashi, put on this mask. This is gonna be strictly unbroken. As Kakashi then smiles at this, as Kakashi then enters, Anbu Kakashi mode. So Kakashi then puts on his dog mask on as he then goes inside as Naruto puts on his centipede mask. As they then like start killing all of Subsu's thugs. Subs are hearing Gato hearing, the screams of his henchmen, then goes into his safe and closes the door. After a few minutes of, killing, Naruto like managed, to take some of the money from the thugs and all that important things, jewelry, everything. As Kakashi then says, huh, even robbing the dead is, Naruto then scores it. Kakashi says, huh, not my fault they're rich. As they then like head, towards Gato's room. So Gato is in his safe, shaking, like he's fearing. As Naruto then like puts some explosive tags on the safe door. As it activates, the safe explodes. Naruto then uses his tentacles, to pull the safe door out of the way. As Gato is on the floor like begging, please don't kill me. I'll give you anything. Money, women, drugs. Gato says. Naruto then smiles as he then takes out a paper and says, sign here. And I'll let you leave. Kakashi then looks at Naruto and Naruto is just fine. Gato then signs off the paper and he's like, Naruto says, how foolish of you. You've gave me all access to all your account, your money, your banks, your accounts, and Gato Corp. As Gato's eyes widen. Naruto then chops off Gato's head, says like a huge bounty on it, which could like sustain Naruto. Naruto then like unseals some scrolls. So on these scrolls, there are like some names, personal and wave, So Naruto then like looks at all the money she's in Gato's safe, as he starts like putting it into the scrolls. So Naruto then like takes 1/3 of the money, as he puts it in a scroll which is written wave, as he then seals it and gives it to Kakashi and says, this is like the money you're gonna give wave. He then takes out from the scroll and says, Kakashi. He then like puts in 3 gold bricks, 10 million Ryu inside, and some other jewelry which was there, and gives it to Kakashi and says, Kakashi, now you can buy all the Icha paradise you want. Kakashi has a big smile on his face and says, thank you, Naruto. He then puts away the sword. Naruto and says, Kakashi, no one must ever know about this. As Kakashi nods. So, the rest of the money and all the gold bars, which are about like, around 300 bricks of gold bars, which are left, Naruto then puts them in a scroll. As he then puts the scroll in his pouch, he then takes another scroll and puts in the money and says, this is gonna be useful for my red line district, Naruto says. He then puts in all the money, as he then sees like a secret compartment. Naruto then opens the compartment, as he then sees, there are many more treasures, there are like golden coins, some golden swords, some, as Naruto then sees like this, the Uzumaki crest on them. Naruto is then like immediately filled with some rage and anger, but he then subsides. He then like makes some clones and pulls out, a big scroll as the clones then put all the treasures inside. After Naruto is done, he makes sure like he clean or everything out. So Naruto then like went to Gato's computer. I think they did have computers at that time. As he then started typing on Gato's computer. He transferred all of Gato's funds to one of Naruto's personal accounts, which is like his Anbo account. So that account is like secure, so no one can access it, not even Danzo can touch it. After Naruto is done like with the funds, he then like exits like Gato's mansion. He then creates a child beast bomb and tosses it at the mansion as the mansion is destroyed. So Naruto then like walks over to Wave, he then like goes to the center of Wave. He then says, people of Wave, you're finally free, as he takes out Gato's head. Everyone of Wave cheers and they're like finally free from Gato's rule. So Tazunami was like there, then said, so what about the mantras and Gato's, safe which he has taken from us? Kakashi then takes out a scores, he then gives it to them, says, Tazunami, I trust you use these funds, to build Wave into a better place. As Tazunami then nods. So Tazunami becomes like the water daimyo at this point of Wave. And the Kiri, like, I'm not sure if it's the Hidden Mist Village, she becomes like the water daimyo. As some applications are sent, to the Mizukage, who is made by this time that the water daimyo is back, which is now, Tazunami. So enough about that. Back to Naruto's perspective. After doing all that, the bridge then gets named the Great Naruto Bridge, as they put a statue of Naruto on the side of the bridge in honor of the hero Naruto. # centipede at the bottom. So Naruto then heads back to the Hidden Leaf Village. As he goes to the Hidden Leaf Village, time skip 3 days, they arrive at the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto then first goes to cash in the bounties, at the Shinobi like bounty place. He then gives them like Sabusa's head, Kato's head, the head of Guzu and Mizu. Is Naruto then gets like his money, which is about 5 billion Ryu, put in a scroll, and Naruto then takes the scroll. Naruto then heads over to the Hokage's office with Kakashi. He says mission accomplished. Hokage, Naruto then says, So then the Hokage then says, Naruto, we need to speak. As the Hokage then sends this Anbo out. Kakashi is also in, and then the Hokage then says, Naruto, are you the one who has been, fixing up the red line district? And Naruto says, oh yeah, it's been me. I have seen that, the red line district is no place like to mess around with. There are a lot of criminals, and and no one was doing anything about it. The Hokage then says and says, Naruto, like you've just caused trouble for me. As the council now wants to take, the red line district. Naruto then gets an angered look on his face, says, no, the red line district is now mine. The people of the red line district worship me. I am the one who has, built back that place after all these years of anguish and ignorance from it. The Hokage then says, so Naruto, are you gonna take your seat on the council? Naruto says, yes, I'm gonna take my seat on the council. Cause I also have to put the clan restoration act on myself, as I have about 3 ladies with me. Kakashi then gasps in shock as he's thinking dirty about like something special is gonna happen, but Kakashi keeps those thoughts to himself. He wants to go and give them to Jiraiya. So the Hokage and Naruto then go to the council chambers. The council is then summoned. So the council then says, so Lord Hokage, if you finally like come to a decision on who gets to rule over Red Line District, is Hiruzen then and says yes, Naruto is gonna be the one who's gonna be ruling over the Red Line District. The civilian members are like, what? He's a demon. How can he rule over Red Line District? And Naruto says, who are you calling a demon? Is Naruto then like pulls out, he's like centipede, Anbu, mask. Everyone sees this as they immediately starts to fear, as rather than rushes over at the civilian council. He instinctively like kills off the civilian council members as they're all dead. So Sakura is gonna be left an orphan. So the Shinobi Council is like shocked by this, and Naruto says, Lord Hokage, mission complete. Yes, the Hokage then nods. So suddenly Dance then speaks up and says, so our very own Jinchuriki Centipede, the leader of our army, and says, yes, Lord Danzo, it's been me this whole time, and your time has also come. Danzo then says, what do you mean? But suddenly, a red tentacle impels Danzo, through the neck, killing him right there and then. He didn't even have time to use Izanagi to bring himself back to life, but it just happened. So Danzo is now dead. So Koharu and Homer like sees this, gasp and says, Hiruzen, what's the meaning of this? And suddenly, before they could finish the statement, their heads go flying. Hiruzen says, finally, all my mistakes have been cleaned off. Now it's time, to correct the village. Hiruzen says to himself. So Hiruzen then says the civilian cancer has instinctively been abolished. It's no longer there, as this village is ruled by dictation. So the Shinobi Council is like really happy that the third Hokage has finally got back his backbone, so he can now properly run the village. So then says, so third Hokage, if that's all, I have to go and rule over my district and keep things running. But the third Hokage stops him and says, Naruto, what are exactly your plans for the Red Line District? Naruto then says, oh, I'm thinking of putting the whole Red Line District under the Uzumaki Namikaze name and clean it up. So the other clan heads hearing this, and Shinobi Council gasp in shock. Namikaze, no, you cannot do that. As like the other shopping district, which like is like most of the clans, is like funded by the Namikaze and Uzumaki bank accounts. Another says, oh, you think I didn't know about some of the money of the Uzumaki Namikaze bank accounts funding your shopping districts? As all the clan heads gasp, and Naruto says, I also know of the amount was in those bank accounts, and I'm gonna need it back, paid in full, Naruto says to them. And Naruto says, I'm gonna be coming to each and every clan house to collect the budget that you've used to run your clans. So the council meeting then ends, Naruto then goes to the Hokage office. Naruto says, Naruto, when did you know about your parents? Naruto says, I knew about them for a long time, since I was around 4 years old. As third island cast, and third one says, Naruto, I'm very sorry for keeping this secret from you. Naruto says, it's okay, it was only for my protection after all. Naruto then heads back, to like his Red Line district. As he then summons like the council, his personal council, is the gang head, like the gang bosses come, and some of the people come, like important people. Naruto then takes out the money from like the scroll he had from like the money he took from like the bounties he had. He then like gives them individually like 100,000. It says boost all your businesses and fix up this red line district. So the red line, the people then cheer for Naruto. If they're happy, is the meeting then ends. Naruto then heads over to his apartment, which he and Ayame are sharing, and Anko as well. So as he's heading over to his apartment, he then meets Hinata on the way and says, "Oh, hello, Hinata." And she says, "Oh, hello, Naruto." Yes, Hinata feels the urge to confess her feelings to Naruto. She then says, "Naruto, stop." He then pulls Naruto over to an alleyway. "Naruto, from the first time you saved me from getting kidnapped and getting beaten by those bullies, I was inspired by you, Naruto. I got my passion back from you. I'd initially given up on life. Naruto, I love you," Hinata says. Naruto then smiles, he then pulls Hinata in for a kiss and kisses her on the lips. Hinata is still happy that Naruto is recuperating her feelings for him. So guys, I'm gonna leave it off at a cliffhanger. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for the support, guys. I'm also gonna be starting a new what if video. We're just gonna be replacing what if Naruto was trained by Kaguya. So please like and subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Peace out.